So if you own an e-commerce or Shopify store, I built an automation solution for you that will essentially manage your inventory levels. So first thing it's going to do is it's going to provide you real-time data on your current inventory levels based off new orders that are coming in. We're then going to also track the amount sold per SKU, and then we're going to feed all that data into an AI decision matrix that, or where its focus is to minimize capital expenditures. So to make sure that you don't have money sitting on inventory that's not being sold, and to resupply your inventory at the proper times. And we're also going to be providing a bunch of different other analyses on your current inventory levels. So I'm going to be walking you through a solution I built for a previous client, but it'll essentially be the same thing for you guys on your end. So if you guys aren't familiar with Make.com, it's a no-code automation platform. So for this specific solution, I built this out for a previous client, but it'll essentially be the same thing on your end. So we're gonna the first module and a trigger of our scenario is gonna be a Shopify watch orders module. So we're gonna watch any new order that's coming in and grab all that data for that order. So you can see here, this is a bunch of different data that we're getting. This is the quantity sold for that order, and we have the SKU name and stuff like that. We're then going to iterate through these orders. So in case we get, 5 orders at a time, we want to iterate through those specific orders so that we can manage the inventory levels properly. We're then going to connect to our inventory management sheet. So our client's using Airtable for this, but you can have an Excel sheet with all your inventory levels and stuff like that. And we're going to search the record in our Airtable database. So I use the formula here to match the SKU that came in from our Shopify order to the SKU in our Airtable database. So this is essentially saying find this SKU that came in and match it to our variant SKU field here, and then make sure that it exists. So that's what the greater than 0 is, because our client didn't want this solution done for every single one of their SKUs because they have many SKUs. So they wanted it only done for like their most popular ones. So that's why any order might come in for a different SKU, but it doesn't exist in our Airtable database. So we want to make sure, or that's what this greater than 0 accounts for here. So then we're going to update a record here, and essentially what this module doing is it's counting every new order that's coming in per SKU. So we're first matching that record ID that we got from the previous module to make sure that this SKU that's coming in from the order is matched with the SKU in our Airtable database. And then we're going to go to the quantity sold per SKU field, and we're going to grab the current quantity sold for that SKU and then add the quantity that we just sold in that order. So this is just providing us that real-time data that we needed. We're then going to search records in another Airtable database using the same formula, so just matching the SKU that came in from that order with the SKU in our Airtable database. And then we're going to create or update another record. So this is where we get that real-time inventory levels, because we're getting the current inventory that we have for that SKU that we just matched, and then we're subtracting the quantity sold for that order. So we're going to be counting the amount of orders that we're getting for a certain SKU, and we're also going to be providing the real-time inventory levels by subtracting the quantity sold for that SKU. So if you guys are following me, this is very valuable information, because now we have real-time data that we can feed into AI to provide these different analyses that are important to us. So we're going to be looking at the next automation solution where we actually build out, or where we're actually feeding this data into our AI decision matrix, which is then providing this analysis for us. So we're first going to use all this real-time inventory levels from our Airtable database and create a Google Sheets spreadsheet from it. So we created that spreadsheet and then added a row in that Google Sheet to make all the column headers within that spreadsheet. I'm not going to show you because this is confidential information for our client, but I'm just going to walk you through these modules. So yeah, in this module, we're just creating the column headers for our spreadsheet. So before I get into this next module, I need to explain what we're pulling here. So essentially what we did is we grabbed all the real-time data, we fed it into AI, and allowed it to provide a prediction every month for the amount being sold per SKU. So this is the actual predictions and real-time data analysis that we're using. And then once we did that, we basically are pulling all these records here. We're pulling all the aggregations of these formulas that we used. So then we're going to add a row on Google Sheets and add all the results from these formulas. So you can see here, we predicted it 6 months in advance, and we grabbed the prediction per month and made its own column for it, so they can really track how much they're selling per month. We then also grabbed the minimum order quantity for orders being sent to the United States, because they don't only do business in the United States, they sell in other countries as well. So we want to make sure that we're accounting for the US sales, because that's what they asked us to do. We're then going to use an array aggregator to make sure that this is all bundled up into one one result essentially. We're then going to download the Google Sheet that we just created using this Google Drive module. And then we're going to upload this Google Sheet into our AI decision matrix essentially. We're then going to use the sleep module to allow this to upload for a little bit. And then once it's uploaded, we're going to message our assistant, which is the AI decision matrix behind it. So we basically created an assistant with all the context, all the data that we need to allow it to make its decisions. So I'm not going to show the actual prompting behind that because it's kind of confidential to our business, but this is essentially where the actual decisioning is happening. So we sat down with our client and grabbed all of the lead times that they had, their factory minimum order quantities and all that stuff, and fed it into this decision matrix. So it has all the context behind it. And then we fed all the real-time data that we're grabbing, and then we're allowing it to, provide that analysis. And essentially its focus is to minimize capital expenditure. So we don't want our client, resupplying inventory levels months in advance, where they now have, sitting dead inventory that's not being sold and their money is tied up and stuff like that. We're then using another GPT completion to basically grab the output from our decision matrix and then organize it in an email for our client. And then we're using the Streamer module to send the email to our client. So I hope you guys enjoyed this solution today. Leave a thumbs up and a comment if you have any questions. And yeah, see you guys soon.